Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live stream AMA. How's everyone doing? I am exhausted. It's midnight for me, but we rally. We're always here. I was literally just at dinner with a bunch of people, and Base from Pixels Tips was there at the table with me, and we were just like having a good conversation. He was like, "How do you do this every week?" And I was like, I don't know, but I'm here. We're here. We're here every week. However, Luke is late because he's also usually late behind the scenes. You guys don't know this. What's interesting is I was just on a call with him, and the clock struck midnight, and we said, "Hey, okay, see you there." You'd think we'd just jump over, but no, it is just me right now. So, anyways, let's talk trash. What's going on? What do what do we need? What do we want to talk about? Heidi with 1,000 energy, guys. No, I am so tired. It was a hectic, busy day. I flew in late last night. Had to get up early to get ready to go to all. Actually, I vlogged today and I edited it and I posted it. I don't know what I'm on, but the vlog is live. Go to my page. I posted it like 20 minutes ago. Ending with it's AMA time because it's AMA time. Yeah, no, it's been a pretty cool day. I started the day, I met up with Bossa and Leon. We used to do a lot. They used to run our X, what are they called? Live streams on X, what are they called? Twitter Spaces. They used to run our Twitter Spaces. So I worked with them for years. Great people. And then I ran over to another event. Oh, I went and met Fee from YGG to go start. We're planning YPS, which is really fun, really exciting. And then I met up with just so many people. It's pretty cool. It's really, if you ever get a chance to go to an event in person, I highly recommend it because it's so amazing meeting all these people in person. But the main event that especially all of you guys need to be at is YPS because Luke and I, look who showed up. Luke and I will be there again this year, and I'm going to spill the tea. I am trying to work on throwing a side event. So I want to see all of your faces there. It'll be really fun. He's probably showering so he's clean for us. Right.
I mean, that
In
is kind of true.
it's
I took my first shower in a little bit today.
nice bangs. Yeah, okay. Like, look at Singapore hair. My hair was straight this morning. It's so hot and sticky here. But yeah, chaotic. Let's see. He'll be here in 2 to 4 weeks. It was 2 to 4 minutes, you know. Oh my gosh. Come to the theater. Okay. Okay, I'll come there in a second. Is there popcorn going on? I haven't even looked, guys. You don't hear the AI speaker? Okay, I'm sorry. There's an AI speaker in my room that's just been going wild.
Sounds like you're getting ready for something exciting. Whether you're making a quick move or just taking a moment, I'm here to help. Got anything fun planned or just taking a break? Let me know how I can
Can you
assist
not
you.
unplug it?
I might have to. Like, it's midnight. Why is it talking to me? Go to bed. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, I'm so sorry. This is gonna be a chaotic AMA. Okay, guys. Any grapes in Singapore? I have not tracked any down yet. I have not been to any convenience stores or grocery stores yet, though. So time will tell. But I'm in Southeast Asia. Like, I need to eat mango, and mango candies. I got the best mango candies last year in Thailand. I'm still thinking about them. So,
No need to apologize.
okay,
Chaotic moments
I
are part of the
might
fun.
throw
That's
that
the beauty of
thing
Singapore.
out the
You don't have
window.
to check out local grocery stores or
It's
convenience
telling me
stores
about
every
what grocery
day.
stores to go to right
Usually
now.
have a good selection of fruits,
All
healthy
right, well, I'm
veggies.
gonna let
If you're
Luke
up for an adventure, maybe
All
you
right.
could
talk
try
Yeah.
about pixels.
some
BRB. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, Heidi's unplugging that, whatever. So yeah, there's a few things that we're working on right now. So it's been a little bit slow for the last month or two. We know that because we've been basically working on a bunch of stuff for the last like 6 to 7 months. If you guys have been following Pixels for a long time, you guys know that we started picking up the pace again around like 6 months ago. We made some changes into the team, and we like changed some of our strategy too. So in early January, we were still trying to do some like the Web 2 monetization stuff inside of Pixels, where we were doing all these events, like the holiday event, and we tried to monetize the game and like build the game like you would a Web 2 game. And we started to realize that wasn't really working. Like even when we had success with that in the holiday event back in December, January, for example, there were things about Web 2 philosophies when you're doing a Web 3 game that feel really dirty and not good, right? Like in Web 2 games, gotchas are actually pretty common, and spending money on like soft rewards are pretty common. But when you start to add in like the real money component into a Web 3 game, you have to do it differently than you do inside of Web 2 games. So we knew that we needed to make changes into the game, and we knew we needed to like kind of you know really rethink about what we're doing inside of Pixels then. So we started to get together and like figure out what the next chapter of Pixels would look like, chapter 3. We were on these AMAs a lot. We were talking about a bunch of different ideas that we had, and we finally solidified it like 4 to 5 months ago. And yeah, we've basically been working on it since then, and we're about to start to release it soon. So October is going to be a big month for Pixels because in October, or at least October to early November. That's the range I'm comfortable saying right now. We'll have like 3 to 4 different things release. We will have Chapter 3 release. We'll have the Pets app first release candidate, like a very early beta release, which we might even give access to some of you guys on. And we'll also have like this new product that we're working on around like the offer wall. We're calling it Neo internally right now, release as well too. And those 3 things together are like the culmination of like a year-long bet and a year-long of work that we've been working on too, especially the Neo one as well. And the Pets app has been about a year in the making as well too. So we're really excited about the next stages. Like I know these AMAs are getting like a little monotonous, and if you've been following these AMAs for a long time, that's how it kind of works. Like there's a few months lull sometimes, and then there's like so much busyness, and we're about to get back into a busy phase, which is very exciting, because when we get these initial things out, it's kind of go go go. We're going to keep releasing updates to the Pets app week on week, and we'll keep getting it pushed out to more and more people. We'll continue to like tweak and update chapter 3, and that's going to be a lot of work on our end. When we get chapter 3 out, we know we're going to have to make a lot of changes quite quickly to it. So the team's getting ready for that too. And then this new product that we're working on too, it's called internally Neo. Again, if you guys have a better name, let us know. That'll be kind of releasing in its first stage with the Pets app and with like core Pixels too. and whatever other partner wants to integrate it in the beginning stages also. So yeah, it'll start moving really quickly again too. We've been a little quiet, when we talk about like public perception, right? Like I think if you've been following Pixels, you know that we know how to make noise inside of the space. We didn't want to make noise until we started to have some like new significant updates and traction. And when I say that too, like a lot of what we're thinking inside of like Web3 is Web3 gaming is an interesting space right now, right? What Web3 gaming needs is it needs a new narrative and a new philosophy and something that's very different than what's been happening for the last 2 years, right? Pixels was a really good example of breaking Web3 narrative. The reason why Pixels got so big is because for a long time, everybody was saying there's no Web3 gamers in the space, right? And Pixels came and proved to everybody else, no, there are Web3 gamers. You have to like do the right things. You have to bring the right game. You have to bring the right mechanics, and they'll be there. Now we need another narrative, because I think if somebody just brings a Web3 game that brings in users again, that's not really going to do it. So what we're trying to work on now is we're trying to get new audiences into Web3, and we want to build new games and also tweak our own game to make it more suited for a new audience outside of this current Web3 audience, right? I think all of us know, like the people that are still here, we love Web3, but we also need to see it grow, right? So if we want to see it grow, we need to make a game that will appeal to people without, well, either with the earnings or with like other methods too. Like my long-standing belief still is like earnings and rewarded play. That's how people talk about play to earn in Web2 is they call it rewarded play. They don't call it play to earn. But rewarded play is really the like value out of Web3 gaming. If you play a game and you earn an NFT, that's still play to earn and rewarded play, right? Because you can sell that NFT to somebody else. If you earn a currency, if you earn really anything, it doesn't even have to be crypto. It could be a gift card, right? That's kind of what we're working on. So, we still believe in play to earn. We still believe in rewarded play. We think that crypto is actually probably the best way to do rewarded play and play to earn, because, you don't have to KYC to cash out. It's frictionless. There's like a lot less like regulatory hurdles if you set things up properly and, have it sufficiently decentralized. So we're still working on it, and these are kind of like our new approaches. Like I think if you want to think about our strategy, there's like 3 different things we're working on and like really honed in and focused on. Basically, we're building out Core Pixels, right? That's still our flagship game. That's where most of our eggs in the baskets are going into. And, that's where like I have the most faith and belief in the long term if we can really solve things out, because, Core Pixels has a ton of goodwill. It has a ton of work built into it, a ton of interesting mechanics that we can dive into. What we just need to figure out are what are the right mechanics to emphasize, right? And then we can start to slowly grow player base again. We also are working really closely with Pixel Dungeons. That's a different type of game where we get to go and experiment with this rewarded play with that kind of style. That's more straight up risk to earn. And we're also experimenting with a new casual game, the Pets app, that we're going to be releasing. I think we're calling it, right now the name is going to be called Chubkins, I think. And we can maybe even show you some updates on what that looks like later. But yeah, that's kind of the high level. So we're solving rewarded play. We're still working on it. We're making progress week on week. And really what our end goal here is like we want a successful case study of rewarded play, whether that be through Core Pixels, the Pets app, or any other partner that we're working on. When we can start to prove to people in Web 2 that rewarded play will work, one, we'll start to get more Web 2 game partners in here, and we'll start to like really, really make this work. So yeah, we're starting with our own titles. We're building out some other tech where we can start to share it with other teams when we solve it. And if we solve it, it's game over for all of us in a good way, right? It's GG. So yeah, we're focused on the token. We're focused on all this stuff, and we're making progress week on week. But yeah, we'll probably dive more into questions, because again, this is probably gonna be like a little slower of an AMA. We'll share as much as we can. October is a big month because we're gonna start finally shipping all of this stuff. We're basically QA testing and like in the final stages of like most of these things we've been talking about for a couple months now.
Okay. You're a little choppy. Might be me.
I thought you were choppy. It could be either of us. It's probably me.
Okay, let's go through some questions. And yeah, today will be just like a chill one. So let's see here. No. Singapore's training ground for Philippines. Yeah. Gosh, it's brutal here. I hope it's more chill by the time we get to Manila in like a month. Okay. Well, we have a Halloween event. So I was just chatting with the team because I had this idea that honestly I've wanted to do for years. And we finally have a dev on the team that I can, hey, hey, can you try this? And he built it and he did it. But it's just like a feature that will like be part of an event, if that makes sense. I don't want to leak what the feature is yet because this is something I've wanted for years, okay? And I think it's actually happening. I don't think Luke even knows what I'm talking about, which is good because I don't want it leaked. Okay. So, but anyways, I just pinged the team like yesterday just because of everything that's going on with chapter 3. I was like, hey, can we still do something here? So something is happening. I can't say what it is or how big it is or whatever, but we are doing something which I'm excited for. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm so annoying, but there's something in the works. Okay. Are Chubkins chubby? This is a very important
Okay,
question.
so actually this is an interesting rabbit hole because I want to like show you guys what we've been doing with the game also and the way that we're kind of building it. Let me I think I have something here. Let me pull it up because it's really interesting. And this will kind of let you guys get insights. It's funny because like maybe I shouldn't share this because I know other people in the industry, like a lot of other founders watch this these AMAs, which is interesting. I think it's cool, and I'm always happy to share stuff. But yeah, here's an example of something that we're working on. We're working with a partner right now to like basically figure out what the best like kind of animal to look like is. So essentially what we're doing is we're running paid advertising on anything that we're doing in the future. If you've been following me for a long time, I was actually really anti-paid advertising. I was like, oh, Web3, you don't need to do any paid user acquisition. You can just, grow a game this Web3 native way, or earnings are inherently viral. Those things are true, but actually, if you combine Web3 mechanics with paid UA, I think that's kind of the best long-term future. So what we've been doing is we're trying to be really smart about how we build this app. What we're trying to do is we built like a ton of landing pages for this Pets app game, right? And we started to build a landing page of like a really cute capybara. We built a landing page of the Pets app when we like showed this cute bunny that's more Animal Crossing style, a monster. We tested like a bear, and we ran ads on all of these. So we wanted to get like the click-through rate. We wanted to get like demographics to see who would be the most interested in this and like which particular animal style would actually perform the best and actually be the most popular. And we found this like more, Labubu style, like monster style was actually the like more interesting one to people. But that's kind of the process that we've been going through with this Pets app. We're doing this with like literally every single part of the game, and even like how we position it, how we do earnings and all of that too. We're trying to be really smart and make like data-driven decisions around how we build out stuff in the future. And we're going to be doing the same thing with Pixel Dungeons and the same thing with Core Pixels too. Like essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the right Web2 audience that will actually be interested in these products as well. We want to, not just guess, but also test with real paid user acquisition, get real users from Web2 into the game and ecosystem. Make sure all of the math works too. Make sure that it's not going to cost us too much money to go out and acquire new users. And even like the necessary situation is that we're running ads that are actually profitable for the ecosystem. So we can run a paid UA, or we can run a paid ad that costs us, I think some of the CPM that we're targeting will be like $1 to $2, right? Or not CPM, CPI. So like we want to like basically get to a target and like get the right ads and like build the right product that gets us like $1 or $2 per install. An ideal situation is they're spending, a few dollars a pixel, and there's like a few dollars of pixel burn in the long run. So that's what we're working towards right now. We're getting like pretty mathy about it, very data driven. And we're starting on the Pets app doing this. After chapter 3 comes, we'll probably do the same exact thing that we're doing with the Pets app with Core Pixels, where we start to do like paid UA to test What kind of things do Web 2 users like about Pixels? What will get a Web 2 user into Pixels? How do we optimize that funnel for a new user? Like, yeah, somebody said in one of the starred questions, the new player won't survive it in this ecosystem. It's too hard for them. We completely agree. So what we're not focused on with Core Pixels right now is the new player experience. When we get chapter 3 out and we start to see how it performs, that's when we're going to switch to the new player experience. And that's when all this like paid ad funnel stuff really, really matters. So we wanted to make sure that the end game of Core Pixels was, sufficiently good. And also the economics were good. And now we'll go and like start to acquire new users when we start to figure it out. So I think what I'm leaning towards right now is if chapter 3 performs in the way that we want it to, which I'm actually pretty optimistic because there's features in the game right now that are performing really well. And if chapter 3 sits in between the two, then we're golden when it comes to ROAS and return on reward spend. And then what we can do is like start to go and, really be diligent about a paid UA campaign for Pixels also, and do it profitably most likely as well. So that's the idea. But yeah, we need to fix the new player experience if we're running paid ads. If the new player experience is terrible, if we run an ad, it'll be so expensive for us to get a new player into the game. We don't want that. We want it to be as cheap as possible, right? So we need to make sure the new player experience is good while also making sure the old player experience and the ROAS is good too. But the reason why I'm optimistic about us getting there is because there's certain features inside of the game that are already performing quite well. Like, for example, Neon Zone is at like about a 1.4 to 1.5 return on reward spend. Neon Zone is actually profitable for the ecosystem right now, right? Which is great. That means when people participate in Neon Zone, more people spend inside of it than the rewards that we give. And those rewards are going back to stakers too. Remember, it's like all about, how we can reward the people inside of the ecosystem when it comes to stakers or, buybacks, doing whatever we need to. So yeah, that's kind of the high level and thought process there. But you are right. This needs to get worked on after we release chapter 3 in the core game.
Here's a bit of like a response. To optimize Pixels for Web 2, you'd have to remove the little complexity that still exists. I'm heavily against it. I don't agree. I mean, there's what complexity are you pointing to here? Because like I feel like when I play Minecraft, I don't know what the hell I'm doing because I've never played it growing up, right? It's so annoying. I have to Google how to do anything. It's so complex. There's so many Web 2 games that are extremely complex. So, I mean, are you pointing out like the Web 3 part?
Yeah, you ever played Factorio? Yeah,
like
no.
There's very hard games. There was just a game that launched, and my friend was playing it, and he was like, "Just don't even bother because it would annoy you." What was it called? Okay, I'm so unhelpful right now. I'm.
Yeah, so I mean, when we talk about Web 2, like honestly, I think what Web 3 needs to stop doing is we need to stop talking about Web 2 and Web 3. I think that's the real key insight
I'm
here.
so
It's
tired of it.
yeah, at the end of the day, like games should be games, right? So what we do need to do is we need a bigger audience than what we currently have, regardless of Web 2, Web 3, right? Now we don't necessarily have to sacrifice the Web 3 mechanics in order to do that, right? There are some things like onboarding and all of that need to work. And there is like gameplay that needs to get made different as well too. Now, I think the big thing when I think about Web 2 and Web 3, when we talk about gameplay mechanics, is user expectations, right? Like one important thing is, we need to, and some people might not like this when I say this, we need to make it so that people don't always expect guaranteed earnings. That is a really important thing because here's what we need to do when we think about growth of the game. What we need to do is we need to be a little profitable when it comes to game growth, not because we're selfish and we're trying to pocket all this cash, but anytime that we have like a profitable game loop, what we can do is we can reinvest in the growth, right? So say that we give out $1 of Pixel and rewards and the return on reward spend is 2, so we get $2 in rewards back. That's $1 in profit of rewards, right, for us, or like $1 Pixel profit for us. What we can do then is we can use that $1 of Pixel for more user acquisition. Now imagine we do like, $1 million of revenue in Pixels a month, and we only gave out $500,000 of Pixel. That gives us 500,000 more Pixel to go out and use for user acquisition. Like, this is why the profitability matters to grow the game, right? So what we need to do is we need to get ROARs in the right spot. We need to build an audience that's okay with spending as well too, so that all of us can have success as well too. Because if we have more people spending, the volume increases, right? So ideally it's like a, $1 million a month. Eventually, like, the target for me is like, we want to do 100 million in revenue a year across the ecosystem, right? And we want to get there as quick as we can. How do we do that? We have to make sure this game can scale with more users. Average game like this maybe has like, $1 to $15 LTV per user. So like, really what we need is, in order to do $10 million a month, we need to like, 1 million, 2 million real players that are Web2 spenders as well. So we need to do a little bit of paid UA to get there. We need some viral mechanics, and we need to like make the right gameplay that's more interesting than a Web2 game too. So in my mind, what makes Pixels more interesting than like the Web2 games that are out there is the Web3 component of trading, of marketplace, of selling items. And that is something that needs to stay. But we need to make it friendly for Web2 users, and we need to make that funnel work too. So what's interesting is like, one thing we are thinking about is maybe like a dual economy where Web2 users can come in, and if they're playing on like a mobile app, for example, they're just paying with a credit card. They're still playing inside of the game, but maybe they can't cash out. And they have to go onto the web app to go and like experience. So that's kind of the idea there. But yeah, it is something that absolutely needs to be solved. Let's go through more questions.
I'm just looking through some.
Isn't Labubu trend chasing? Yeah, so we're not going like completely Labubu. You're right on this particular part. There also is like market differentiation with something that is more like this too than what's currently out there. So there's like, with any of this data-driven stuff, it's funny because you can make statistics say anything. Whenever you see stats online, always be skeptical, because if you know how to use statistics, you can use them for evil too. And you can also use it to confirm your own biases. So I just pulled up that. Huh?
I said that's so true. It's like Googling. Like, if you Google something with a bias in it, you're gonna find the answer that you want. Like, if that does that make any sense? Like,
so one thing that we're trying to be careful with is, like, I actually do think being data driven is a good thing. I also think gut feeling is important too. Like, I've always felt that whenever we build something, and honestly, like, our gut sometimes at Pixels is better than some of the data-driven decisions that we made. But this is a good example of like getting enough data. So just like one test like this that we ran of like comparing different ads is probably not enough. It's not enough, and we're running a lot more actually. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys an insight into the process that we're doing, where it's like, oh, we're doing paid UA, we're putting money towards it. We're like being thoughtful around it. We're gonna do this with Pets game first because it's nice to do it like from something fresh. We're also gonna do it with Core Pixels. We're also going to help Pixel Dungeons do this too. And we're really focusing on like a combination of Web 2 and Web 3 growth, which we think will make us hyper competitive against Web 2 growth. Do you think DAU will go up with Chapter 3? Okay, here's my take on it. What we're trying to do with Chapter 3 is we made some changes to it where we want everybody to participate in it. So I don't think we talked about this on this AMA. We talked about it a little bit in the Landowner AMA. But expect some changes to the task board with Chapter 3. What we're going to start to do is we're going to start to introduce something new that you can earn inside of the task board called Yieldstone. And what you can do with the Yieldstone is you can go and participate in Chapter 3. So if you are a pixel grinder and you are doing the task board every single day, you're going to be earning Yieldstone now also. It'll come up as a new type of task in your task board. So really, you're going to be playing Chapter 3 if you're playing normal Pixels. Now, what you do with that Yieldstone is you'll need to join a faction, and it's not like a huge thing when you join a faction. It's not like joining a guild.
Union.
A union. So you're going to be joining a union, and again, it's not the same thing as joining a guild. It's like not a huge commitment. I think you have to like there might be a cooldown or like a switching fee. But like we want everybody to do this. So we're not trying to paywall it or like gate it from anything. And it's not as social, but it can be too. It's like if you've ever played RuneScape, there were like different gods in RuneScape that you could like kind of like pledge allegiance to. Um, that's like that's a faction system, what that is, right? And it's like it's still single player if you want it to be. Now you might see somebody in your same faction and be like, heck yeah, we're in the same faction. But you don't need to like talk to anybody, be social to join it. You can just join it, right? And what you do with the yield stone that you earn is there's this new mechanic around hearths. And essentially how chapter 2 will work, or chapter 3 will work, is I think on a weekly or bi-weekly cadence, there will be a competition across all of the factions and all of the unions. Sorry, I keep saying faction, but we call it union now. There will be competition across all of the unions. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be competing to build and complete a hearth. So you're going to be using this yield stone to basically power up this hearth, or you can use this yield stone to sabotage another union's hearth. So if you want to like build yours up and try to race towards completion, that's great. If you have all this extra yield stone that you've been getting from chapter 3 from the task board and you don't know what to do with it, you can go and like use it to sabotage another team. So yeah, basically there will be no reason to not do it. How it will work is basically you'll be offered tasks you turn in, like, you know, any resource that you might have inside of your inventory, just like a normal chapter 3 task or chapter 2 task. And some of the tasks will be yieldstone tasks. So there will probably be some like blocker tasks like you see with coins, where if you're trying to chase that pixel inside of the normal task board, you'll have to go and like complete some of these yieldstone tasks to go and, you know, keep going through the task board. And what's great also is we'll put in rewards into the chapter 3 loop as well. So we'll be switching around where the earnings come from a little bit in chapter 3, and that'll be a little bit of the live ops experimentation, where truthfully what we probably want in the long run is we want a little bit less earnings inside of the task board and more earnings inside of chapter 3 or the offer system, right? Now what's interesting is if chapter 3 is roars positive, like if we have roars over 1, we don't have to decrease the task board emissions at all. Like we could keep them the same and then use like the you know, extra rake or profit from that game loop and use it for more rewards inside of the loop there. But yeah, this will be a little bit of a different loop than what you guys are used to. We're really interested to see how it affects the current player base, if you guys like it, and if it does change DAU in the beginning stages. What could happen is people might say, hey, I'm not getting as much earnings in the task board. I don't want to do chapter 3. I'm done. I'm not playing anymore. And we know that's a possibility. Some people might like it a lot more though, and they might, you know, participate in it more than they would before. So there's a couple things that we're looking at. Like we are looking at participation. We'll be looking at retention. If there's drop off, we'll be looking at roars. So if this loop is sustainable or not. And all these things together will kind of go into that decision of like what we do next. The ideal situation is that we have positive roars and we keep DAU. And then we can use that positive roars to go out and do paid user acquisition. If we want to go and do paid user acquisition on core pixels, likely we're going to have to probably do a mobile port, I think, and do mobile paid user acquisition. So we'll make like a, you know, separate mobile app. We might change some of the UX a little bit, make it more friendly for a new user, change the onboarding, do a lot of data-driven onboarding optimization for mobile. And then, yeah, that'll kind of be the plan there.
Okay, this was just like a kind of relative. Which industry/skill will be the most useful in chapter 3? So because of the system using the task board, all of them are, right? Which is kind of the beauty of it. There's no new thing here or leaning heavily into one industry over another because it requires this resource. Everything is needed because it's just tasks on the task board. So that's why it's kind of like the beauty of this design.
Token price will affect the revenue a lot, though. Right now, it keeps on a down trajectory, which also means any purchase in the game is less revenue. Yeah, so it's interesting. What we actually see is like spend appetite is kind of tied to US dollars, most likely. Now, not most likely. That is what we see actually with any purchase inside of the game. Now, what the token price going down does affect is the amount of rewards that we can give out, which kind of affects DAU, is what we've noticed. So when token price goes up or down inherently, we kind of get more DAU or less DAU for free, which is kind of an issue with that being reflexive. Now, our end goal with the token is we want basically more people using it inside of the game, and we want more buy pressure on it. Let me think about how to phrase this properly, because I do have to be careful how I talk about this sometimes. But here's the high level. So essentially what we're trying to do is we just want to build out games that make revenue, right? Like at the end of the day, we want to make games that are fun, that people want to spend in. And that's what any gaming company does, right? Like that is the mission for every single gaming company in the world. If they don't have that mission of making fun games that make revenue, they're kind of silly and they're probably going to go bankrupt, right? Like you have to have both of those things together. We live in a capitalistic society. I'm sorry, we can't make a game that doesn't make revenue. But yeah, we also want to scale that revenue as well too. Now we do have a token, which is interesting, or there is a token out there. There's a Pixel token out there, right? And we are working with the Pixel Foundation. The Pixel Foundation's goal is to basically see Web3 gaming come to as many people as possible. Now, in order to make Web3 gaming come to as many people as possible, having a healthier token price that can be used for user acquisition to go out and acquire new users, and to also help this Pixel protocol that's kind of getting built out with the staking ecosystem. We need more people using the token, holding the token, and wanting to hold the token, right? If we can do that, that increases the amount of players that are in the ecosystem and the amount of data going to the ecosystem, which will create a flywheel of getting more users to go out and go acquire. It'll create like a user acquisition flywheel, basically. So that's the end goal. We think about this a lot, and there's a couple bases here. Like one, core game quality matters. Like the game needs to be good. People need to want to spend in it. Two, the audience matters too. And all of the other growth hacks, user acquisition strategies, and key differentiators matter too. So yeah, with token price down, you are right, Kieran. It's easier to make more revenue when the token price is higher because you have a bigger user acquisition budget for rewards, right? And if you can get return on reward spend at 1, like say that you have $1 million of rewards, return on reward spend is 1, that's $1 million in revenue, right? Now, we've been talking about return on reward spend as a key metric. Like eventually, truthfully, what's going to be the main metric is not revenue, top line revenue, but it'll be like, free cash flows going into the token. So basically like the profit of the ecosystem. Free cash flows that can be used for, distribution to stakers or for buybacks. And that requires not just revenue, but also like return on reward spend being good, basically like profitable tokens and ecosystem stuff. But you have to scale that. So that's kind of the idea. Like get the economics right, focus on chapter 3, make sure return on reward spend and the paid UA economics match up, that we've like optimized paid UA, that we've like optimized return on reward spend inside of the game, and then start to scale the game, scale users, scale revenue. Like that's the long run.
Okay. Did we talk about merchant ships yet?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Merchant ships. So, update is still in progress. If I'm being honest with you, I don't have an update from last week's update, which is that it's still a work in progress. It is coming. It's coming with the reason it's taking so long is because we're building out like this other little feature that will take place.
Just say what it is. Just leak it.
I think we might have leaked it at some point already. But anyways, they're working on another feature that kind of like coincides with it. So it's just taking a little bit longer. But it is coming. It's in the works. And then Neon Zone, we just launched an update there. There might be something coming end of month for there too, maybe. No promises. Pets, there was an update in the works with that too. That one I have the least amount of information on, honestly, right now. So, but yeah, basically all these things are in the works, and I just don't have a timeline for you quite yet. But they are being worked on.
Funny how you say holding is so good, but focus so much on spending. So guys, this is how it works. Like the reason why somebody would want to hold a token is either from like 2 mechanics, from yield from staking, or from like buy pressure if we were to do buybacks, right? So in order to get that yield for staking or the revenue for buybacks, we need people to spend inside of the game, right? Like where else is that coming from otherwise, in a sustainable way, in a long-term way too, right? Like you have to have those things. So we think about it a lot. And this is like all I think about, to be honest. But yeah, here's a good question too. So would you consider a buyback for getting new players? Right now, Pixel is losing its value. The real question is, what are you doing on getting more users? So I don't think a buyback will get us more users. I think, truthfully, here's how I view things. And this is sometimes the downfall, but sometimes the right way, right? I only want to build something that I truly believe will work in the long run and something that has real value. Like I have no interest in building a Ponzi, building something that's like all hype and like hot air. And I think if you follow these AMAs for a long time, you know that we actually have like good intentions, and we've been doing that and working on that this entire time. Now, it doesn't mean everything that we do will always work out in the way that we want, because we're all still kind of trying to figure out actually how to build a Web3 game and what actually works inside of Web3. Like no one's actually cracked the code yet. And, we have to learn and we have to make mistakes to do that. Right. So I really feel good about the next stuff that we're doing. Like this is actually after like 4 to 5 years of lessons of building in Web3. Right. And here's the game plan on what we think about the future of like Web3 growth and what a Web3 game should look like. Now, I think hyper targeted rewards are probably the most important aspect of rewarded play. You have to make sure that you're giving out rewards to the right people for the right actions for the right thing. If you just give out like a blanket prize pool, what you'll see inside of Web3 gaming is they'll get taken up by bots. It'll actually do nothing for user acquisition, for spend, or for growth. But if you're really smart about how you give out rewards and you know how to do anti-fraud, you know how to give the right incentives to the right people at the right time, then there's insane opportunity there. Now, what's interesting is in Web3 gaming, you kind of get to see how powerful the growth can be inside of a Web3 game when you initially release any new game or rewards or mechanics, is you'll have like a couple months before bots start becoming a problem. A bother has to learn about the game, all of that too. So like all of us in Web3 have seen how crazy it can be with Axie, with Pixels, with, a lot of the other games coming out. But it hasn't lasted because these rewards get less and less efficient because people find more and more ways to abuse them, or they're not giving out rewards for the right metrics or for the right reasons. Now, a lot of what we're building out in this Project Neo, almost view it like TikTok. What we do is we're kind of basically sending out random rewards to random types of people. And as we start to send out these random rewards to different types of people, we start to learn what rewards are the most effective for the metrics that we have. And I can like transparently tell you the metrics. The metrics are top line revenue and DAU in those beginning stages. And that's what we're trying to optimize for. So these rewards are kind of randomly going out to the random people. And we'll see, oh, when we gave out this reward, it made this person stay inside of the game for another day. Or it made them like, want to spend a little bit more, or it made them like, spend for the first time. Like maybe we turned somebody who's like only earned inside of the game into like a first time spender, which is a big milestone. Like this is kind of the stuff that we're thinking about. We think a lot about anti-churn, all of this stuff too, but basically we're building like a really smart system that eventually is going to be completely black box, where it just starts giving out rewards to random people in any game and then optimizing them to be like the best for the game and the ecosystem. Right. So buyback to get new players, I think, is the wrong direction. Like what we're trying to do first is we're trying to get new players to build out revenue so we can do buybacks. Right. It's different than what other teams in Web3 might be doing. Right. But like here is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build long, durable, and real solutions and actually try to build like the biggest gaming company that we can. Right. Like, like 3 years we started. Like we would sit on these AMAs and be like, we want to be the biggest Web3 gaming company. I think we hit that goal for a brief period at least, where maybe we did become the biggest Web3 gaming company, which is kind of crazy. But like, the aspiration is actually not becoming the biggest Web3 gaming company. It's becoming the biggest gaming company. And how any gaming company that is great has come into existence is basically they find a new way to grow games. Or a new hack or a new like strategy, right? Like all the great gaming companies that have done this. Like Fortnite, they had Unreal, right? And that was a huge advantage to building their own games. Zynga, they were the first gaming company to kind of do like really crazy big data analysis and big data science on games to kind of figure out like funnels and retention and all of this. Like they're the ones that kind of like changed the game for everybody building in the internet now when it comes to data science and consumer applications. Scopely is the company that made Monopoly Go. They pioneered really intelligent, smart offer systems. And what we want Pixels to do is we want to pioneer rewarded play and how you integrate that into games. So that's the idea in the high level concept. But yeah, in order to do that, we have to basically do the fundamentals first, which we know is like a little quiet right now because these are very hard problems to solve. I feel like if we solve these problems, the opportunity is there and it's worth doing. And I'd rather do things and try doing it the right way than the other way around. So that's the idea. When will you start giving out rewards in USDC? So Pixel is only used for in-game and staking. I like the idea of giving out rewards in USDC, but we can't do it until we hit roars over 1. I would love to kind of like ease on the like token inflation and stop giving out tokens every single month and then use the revenue in USDC to buy back the token. That's kind of long run, like an ideal situation. But again, you got to make revenue. You have to make revenue in like other tokens if you want to buy back. If you do native token revenue, you can either like take it out of circulation or you can give it as a reward to stakers and give yield. But I think it's much more interesting to give out USDC yield for holding Pixel long run. But again, in order to do that, we have to build something that makes revenue and stays long run. vPixel is the key. So we are going to experiment with rolling out vPixel soon. We're going to offer it into the offer system. And here's my thought on like app tokens versus liquid tokens versus USDC. I think there is a spectrum of liquidity for rewards. And on the left end, like just giving, if you've seen our offer system now, like some of the rewards that we gave out a few of the times are just coins. And actually, like some people like getting coins as a reward, right? Like you're willing to do that. Then sometimes we give out like items that might be a little bit more rare in events. Like you're kind of willing to earn those. You can trade it, there's like some liquidity around it. And yeah, that's interesting too. There's liquid pixel where you earn it and you can immediately sell it. There's like a lot of liquidity around it. And there's even like on the far end of the spectrum, like USDC, right? vPixel sits in between like coins and liquid pixel when it comes to a reward, right? Like some people are going to want it, but you probably won't want a vPixel as much as a normal pixel, even though it's close to the same. And you probably definitely won't want as much as like USDC or cash, but you probably want it more than an in-game item or coins, right? So yeah, that's kind of the idea of like what we want to experiment with, like how much people want this versus something else. Bro, if you continue to sleep, the game is dead. 18K DAU. There's more DAU than 18K. Sometimes you have to.
That isn't over.
Yeah, the day's not over.
That's what that was from. We were talking about it in chat earlier. It was like October 1st. Like it's not the right time. But
no, it's funny. Yeah, there's something funny in Web3 where like people are not so good at reading charts sometimes, and it's not your guys' fault. But yeah, even here's a complaint. I've seen so many on-chain sleuths be so wrong sometimes. Like it's funny. So say that you see a thread from an on-chain sleuth being like, this person's selling and this person's dumping. Like somebody made an accusation that somebody was like dumping Pixel the other day, and I like looked into it and like they were completely wrong about who they accused and all of this too, where it's like, no, if you actually follow the wallet and do all the tracking, it's like completely wrong. But like nobody double checks inside of Web3 when accusations are made. It's weird. Somebody can make an accusation, and the crazy thing is it's all on chain. You can go and double check and actually verify. Somebody can make a crazy accusation and nobody double checks. No one double checks. They just assume if somebody posts like a screenshot of Dex scanner or like Ether scan that like they were right, but they're not. A lot of the times it's kind of funny. I don't really care. But yeah, again, we are trying to solve the core and fundamental problem of Web3 gaming. And right now, I am not so concerned about DAU. I'm concerned about building the right thing and building the right product with the right users, right? So we knew a couple months ago when we made some changes to the game that we were going to churn DAU, but with the intention of fixing it in the long run and building the right thing. One thing that we could have done is we could have kept chapter 1 on for a long time, and it would have slowly died, but it wasn't going to work. Like we knew chapter 1, as fun as it was not going to work in the long run. And we have no interest in building something that we don't think will work in the long run. And that's why we had to make these changes into chapter 2. Like we could see data that nobody else could see externally inside of the game. Like we could see crazy inflation inside of the game. Like we knew it was a ticking time bomb. And we knew that we had to make some changes. We knew it was going to be unpopular. We knew that we had to like mess up a little bit. And I'm not saying like the execution from chapter 1 to chapter 2 is perfect. There was a lot of things wrong, and I would do things very differently if we were doing it again. But also we had to make some changes and we had to break things in order to actually get on the right path to building the right thing in the long run. Because what we had there was fun. Some people enjoyed it, but it was never going to work. It was fundamentally going to be broken. So that's kind of what we're on the quest to figure out with Pixels. Like, how do we actually build a Web3 game that works, and how do we get there? So yeah, DAU is not the most important metric.
I also do want to just note that like our DAU is more than 18,000, but like I don't feel like we need to prove that to you either, because 18,000 is a lot of people, and there are a lot of games out there that have nowhere near that. So, you know, keep that in mind. The market is down. We used to have a lot more. I'm not saying we didn't, but like the market is down, and we have an extremely strong community still. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you. As you know, I'm getting extra tired, which means I'll get extra sappy soon. So I'm going to stop myself before I do that. But yeah. Just look at this chat. Okay. Actually, you know what? This is actually one thing I do want to address. Everyone always says no one comes to our AMAs anymore. Guys, like 90% of our traffic is on X. So if you're on YouTube and we have 100 listeners, just go to Twitter. It's like weird. I don't know why this shift happened, but it did. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. There will not be a VIP sale anytime soon. I'll just put that out there. Okay. And maybe I'll do some more giveaways soon, but we don't have a VIP sale planned. You guys are really taking over chat right now. All right. Oh my gosh. We're almost at the end. I didn't realize. When live ops. Okay, I'm going to address this because we haven't talked about it in quite a long time, but I don't know, maybe like 6 to 8 months ago, we shifted our strategy behind live ops. So live ops is like a very, very broad term for like live operations, right? Which can mean just like throwing events. And we have different versions of different types of events that we throw in Pixels. And I think our users got very used to what we were doing before, which was like these grand, massive, time limited events. And those were incredible, amazing. They became part of who we are as a game company and community, and we love them. However, extremely unsustainable. I can't even explain how much work and time and effort went into building out these crazy events for them to just turn off at the end. They're just gone, right? So our team was putting in endless hours into something that would just end, right? And that's just not sustainable, right? We wanted to put hours and effort into things that were going to stick around for a long time. So we shifted. A lot of the live ops that you see now in game are things like the Neon Zone, right? And those they're permanent. They're permanent features of the game. We still do our like time limited events, but they're smaller. They're not as crazy and in depth as something like the Winter Carnival was, because if we were to build something on the scale of the Winter Carnival again, it would not be temporary. It would be a permanent feature of the game, like merchant ships, like Neon Zone, like all of these other things, like Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is just like a big feature, right? Like we've talked about this a few times. We're not rewriting the game for Chapter 3.
Yeah.
Chapter 3 is a big feature release, which is what chapters should be like, if I'm being honest, my opinion, right? They should just be these fun major feature releases. So live ops is alive and well at Pixels. It's just not the same as last year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, chapter 3, I want the expectation set too. So our approach to chapter 3 is more like, this is an internal journey also around like sustainability and economics, where we're introducing a new type of gameplay. And this type of gameplay is like a little more risk oriented, but it's not. It's like also casual. It's not like Neon Zone. It's not like Pixel Dungeons. It's actually like, it's technically like you can participate in it for free. Like if you buy coins, then that would be the spend that you do. But, like, you just play the game like normal and you start to participate in this loop. And like some people earn, some people don't. So I like to think about risk to earn and like all of that as a spectrum too. Like this is light, but it's like lighthearted fun. It's not a huge feature. Like it's not going to look like it changed the game a ton. But this is also just kind of what we're trying to do is like nudge and test a certain direction. Because if this works, we can make it look a lot nicer. We can like go even further into this type of gameplay, which I'm very optimistic about. And we can like double down on some of these mechanics too, and like maybe even like increase fidelity. So, for example, if we find that this type of gameplay is resonating with users and they like it, like this is kind of suited to like, double down and like do a combat update that has similar mechanics after, right? Or like something like that. So yeah, that's what we're kind of thinking. Like we want to test the waters. We want to change some of the economics of chapter 3. We want chapter 3 to kind of be our experimentation towards sustainability. Like that is kind of the internal company goal. Sustainability with fun and, something that we can also grow. So that's the idea.
I'm sorry. Okay, wait, I wanted to address this. I mentioned that creator team had access to this data. Unfortunately, they don't anymore. The system that we were using, we're no longer using, and they don't have access to that data anymore. So I'm sorry. We'll see if we can do something in the future, but I just can't promise it right now.
Yeah. And yeah, I know these AMAs are like a little slower, but we're still showing up. We're here. We're making a lot of progress week on week. I promise you guys. It's just like kind of internal and invisible. Especially we're making a lot of progress around some of the reward systems, which I'm super excited because even these reward systems and this offer system will make core pixels a lot better, I think, as well. So yeah, this month will be a good month. I'm really excited. Like all these things we've been working on for so long are finally going to start coming out. And, we're going to start to actually get them live and be able to improve them week on week too. Like I love getting stuff actually out. I love actually like getting real user feedback. Like the Pets app is a great example. Like, the Pets app, the first release candidate, it's not going to be like the full go to market, like the fully polished, like done app, but it'll be in beta and we'll be getting real users testing it. Chapter 3 is not going to come out in 2026. It's nearly done. I'm saying it like mid to late October, early November at the latest. And yeah, you're going to start to see some stuff. So yeah, these AMAs are going to pick up again soon. We're excited. And yeah, I really appreciate everybody that comes to these consistently. Like we literally do this for you guys. I feel like we owe the community so much because you guys have been here for so much and you guys have been through so many things with us. Yeah, we're working here. Web3 gaming, it's a hard space. It's a hard space. Look at the AMAs from 3 years ago. Look at our faces now versus then. We have aged.
No, don't. I know. I was just gonna yell at this person and say that Terraville is organic, but no, it's actually crazy. I was telling like Gio or Ash or someone today that like when I think back to who just like Luke and I were 4 years ago, it's like we were just immature. Like we didn't know what we were doing. We were crazy. I mean, we still are, but like different. A different version of all those things. Oh man. Okay. When Bob UGC, guys, there's so much Bob UGC already. Is there more coming? Oh man. Okay. All right. We got 1 minute left. Is there anything you wanted to add or? Oh, yeah, perfect. Let's go.
Yeah. So guys, again, we have to fix things the right way, right? Like, so people say tokens down. What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? Make it go up. Make it go up. How do you do that? How do you actually do that? You have to build something with real value, and you have to like make it work, right? So we're on a mission to do it. We're building real products. We do these AMAs every week to show you guys the progress that we're making. And yeah, I think we're on the right track. So we're working, we're making it happen. And yeah, I guess that's my closing comment.
All right. You guys seem tired. Wrap it. Yeah, that's me. I'm so sorry. Luke's just starting his day over there. I'm passing out and I have an early meeting and the craziest schedule. So you're right. I will wrap this up. Thank you all for coming out as always. And yeah, lots of good stuff in the works. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone.